In today's video, we're checking out the Saramonic Blink500 wireless solution for filmmakers, vloggers, or anyone who's doing YouTube. If you want a really great small audio solution to clip onto your camera to get great audio, we're going to see whether or not this delivers the goods. We're also going to compare this today to my RodeLink wireless pack, as it also comes with a lav microphone, which I'm using right now. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the channel, folks. This is Shane. I know I'm probably heavily backlit right now, but that's the way that I roll. Today we're checking out this Saramonic kit. Let's take a look up close. Here's one of the transmitters up close, and as you can see, we get a nice big on-off button in the center, which also has a ring LED indicator letting you know when it's charged and also when it's on or off. Now we get a USB-C type charger over here, charging port. We also get the microphone input for a lavalier microphone, which they've included, which I really like. One of the standout features for me though is this omnidirectional microphone. This is great for picking up sound from all around the microphone. Now you might be wondering why you would want that. It's just great to not have to worry about the mic placement when you're using just this transmitter without the lav mic, and it can also be used really well in interview type situations or for voiceover. Here's the receiver up close. We have an on-off button in the center here. We have a USB-C type charging port on this side. We also have the audio out, which is currently going to my Panasonic GH5. Now this is the clip here that connects to the cold shoe mount. So you just push this up or down, whichever way you want to look at that, and then you just clip it straight into the cold shoe mount on your camera. Firstly, a massive thank you to Saramonic for sending out this pack. I really appreciate it. This is going to be a much better solution for traveling and keeping my rigs much smaller than my previous setup. So we're going to take a look at these up close. We're going to test them out and compare them also against the RodeLink wireless pack. I'll leave some time codes and links through to where you can buy these in the description below if you want to check them out. First up, we're going to see what kind of distance we get. These claim up to 50 meters, and I'll put that on screen, whatever the feet equivalent is of that. But we're going to see how these go just for true line of sight. So here we go. Now I'm going to turn around every so often as well, because I found in past experience that digital wireless packs don't always work well when you're facing away from the receiver. Now this might not be the case for these, but it's definitely worth a test. One of the reasons I was really interested in this pack is it's going to make life a lot easier for vlogging. Currently my wireless pack, my main one, is a RodeLink wireless. I actually use two of those, and this pack cuts down on the size considerably. I was supposed to go overseas this year and shoot some videos, but I didn't really like the fact I had to take two big clunky wireless packs. So this will definitely make that a whole lot easier whenever the time comes. And I'm just checking behind me right now. I'm quite a ways from the camera. This has got to be close to the 50-meter mark easily by now. The camera is just sitting up there as a little dot on the hill. So as you can see, hopefully it still works down at this distance. I'm going to turn around and see if it cuts out or not, and I'm just going to continue to ramble on if it works. So this is true line of sight at roughly 50 meters. It's a long way away, and yeah, hopefully the audio quality is good. We'll also test this in control conditions as well. As I mentioned, it's quite windy and there's no wind filter for these, so hopefully everything's good so far, and if it isn't, or if there were issues, I'll leave some annotations on screen. This next test, we're checking out the audio quality of the lavalier microphone, which I've got connected to the transmitter. I'm just simply going to clip the transmitter on my pocket over here and do the same type of test just to see how the audio quality compares to the built-in microphone. And now back to the audio quality on the transmitter without using the lavalier microphone. Up next, we're doing a quick audio comparison and distance test between the Saramonic Blink500 and the RodeLink wireless. Now, I don't actually have one of the small Rode video mic goes, those little square things. I've been using the RodeLink wireless now for a number of years. It's been my go-to pack, so we're going to switch between them both, and I've got both of the lavalier microphones in exactly the same spot. We'll do a little bit of an audio test as well as a distance test here and see how they both compare. So I'm just going to walk backwards down this track, which probably isn't the smartest thing to be doing, but that's just the way I roll. So I'm going to turn around every now and then just to show you that they both hopefully work at a distance as well, and which one will work best. Well, I guess we'll find that out in post, and I'll comment on this once I get home and I check this out, because if there's any issues, I'll leave some annotations on screen so you know exactly what's going on and which one you're listening to. But Overall, hopefully both of these work fine. I never really have any need personally to be any further than about this away from a camera at any particular point. The only time I'm this far away from the camera is when I'm doing these distance tests. So if it's working at a distance of about 20 meters, I'll put that in feet on screen. It's probably around 60 feet or so. It should be enough for most people. If you're going to be doing any real distance stuff for whatever reason, you know, that might be handy for some people too, but I'm going to see how both of these compare, not only in terms of audio quality, but just whether or not they both stood up at that distance. So yeah, I'll comment on all of this in just a moment. All right, it's clear the target audience for something like this would be vloggers or YouTubers or someone who wants to do an interview in a controlled conditioned space, meaning in indoor environment. So imagine you're at a product show and you don't want to carry one of those big interview microphones with you. You've got something that's omnidirectional that will pick up a similar sound pattern to one of those microphones, but it's nice and small. You can hold it in your hand and just hold it either in the center of two people, or you can simply just point it towards whoever you're talking to. And it's omnidirectional, so it's going to pick up a lot of sound from all around the microphone, which makes it extremely good. Now, one of the small downsides of this is there's no LCD indicator of how much battery life is left. Although they claim up to about 6 hours, it's one of those things where you just can't tell, and if you don't regularly charge them, it may cut out without any indication, so you've got to keep an eye on the LCD screen. Being that if you're a vlogger, you're going to get a kick out of just how small these are. Interestingly enough though, I have a GoPro Hero 8 Black with the media mod. I can't actually fit the receiver inside that cold tube mount, but on a number of different cameras with regular cold tube mounts, these fit no problems at all. So just food for thought there. If you're thinking about using them with the GoPro, you're going to have to rig up an additional regular cold tube mount to the cold tube mount that's already on the GoPro, so the clip just slips in. Lastly, there's one thing I want to mention as well. I've just noticed as I've turned on both of the transmitters to the receiver, I have no way of adjusting each of these independently on the timeline in Final Cut or any editor. Basically, we're getting a stereo down mix. So if someone's really softly spoken, you have to get the volume levels right with their transmitter. If someone's really loud, you'll have to bring that down because there's no way to independently sort of adjust and mix left and right channel. It's just putting them onto one stereo track, which may be a deal breaker for somebody, but given the size and what these are capable of, I still think they're a really great audio solution. But if you want them in a professional interview setting, for example, it might be tough that the fact that you can't adjust the audio in post to the same degree you'd be able to if we had a true independent mix going into the camera. Let's talk a little bit about the audio quality and would I recommend these to someone who's looking for a dual transmitter wireless solution. Now, firstly, in terms of audio quality, I thought the Lavalier microphone that comes with this absolutely wiped the floor with the RodeLink wireless in terms of clarity and definition. It also seemed to have just a more pleasing sound overall and a much cleaner signal to my ear. I'll let you in on a secret as well. My RodeLink wireless pack, I was using their $289 Lav instead of the stock one because I forgot to put the stock one back in my bag. So that's the one I choose to use. I think this sounded infinitely better. Let me know your thoughts about that in the comments below. Now, in terms of how the transmitter works, just clipped onto a shirt like this outdoors, you don't need to be as concerned with wind noise as what I first thought. I thought they were going to pick up plenty of wind noise, but they didn't. I actually had them stuffed a little bit too far down in my jacket a couple of times just to sort of make sure I wasn't getting any wind noise, but it's still windy out here. It's not too bad right now, and odds are it's going to be sounding fine. And the microphone being omnidirectional, it means it doesn't matter which way you have it, it's just going to work, and I really like that. You can use it as an interview situation mic like this, and it should pick up my voice no matter where I have it. So overall, I think the audio quality solution of this is fantastic. It's nice and small and compact, and it's definitely going to be part of my travel rig. The biggest consideration when it comes to this particular pack is the fact that if you're running both of these transmitters at the same time, you get both audio on both tracks, which isn't ideal. That means if someone's, say, rustling this microphone and you want to isolate just this mic on the timeline, you can't do that. So that's a big factor that might be a deal breaker for some people and not for others, depending on your particular situation. The second consideration is the fact that there's no battery LED indicator on the unit. So that might be a deal breaker for some people who want to be able to just look and see how much battery's left, as opposed to just monitoring your LCD or LED screen on your camera to see if it's actually run out or not. And lastly, if you're a YouTuber or a filmmaker or you want to do interviews, would I recommend this pack? So if you're a YouTuber, absolutely. If you're doing vlogging, absolutely. You might not always use the second one like I'm not using it right now, but just having that option is absolutely cool. It will up your audio game. This is a much better solution in my opinion than a shotgun microphone. It means you can turn around and the audio is going to follow you. I think that's just so much better, especially for a vlogging situation. For the sit-down audio situation, you have to make sure you get the audio levels right before you record, match the output of each of the transmitters to each person's voice to get a very balanced signal, as you can't edit that too much in post. But if you do that, these still sound really good. So I still recommend them, but with that caveat that maybe they're not quite right for everybody. And lastly, would I recommend this over the video mic Go or my RodeLink wireless pack? So in terms of my RodeLink wireless pack, they've been very, very reliable on the most part. I had some issues with the lav mics, but they got fixed under warranty, which is fantastic. So I'm yet to test these long term, but these will definitely be in my travel rig. The great thing about a pack like this, unlike my RodeLink wireless pack, is when the lavalier microphone dies, I can still use it thanks to that built-in microphone. That's invaluable in the right situation. Imagine you're traveling, you're doing a shoot somewhere, or you're on a set somewhere doing a video for YouTube, and your lav mic dies and you have to get a new one. You have to wait. You can just say, you know what? Take the lav mic off, throw it in the bin, and use just the microphone built in. You'll still get some really great results. Sure, it might not be quite as isolated as the lav mic. You're probably hearing the birds out here, but overall, I still think these are a really great buy. If you want to find out more about these, I'll leave some affiliate links in the description below that help support the channel at no extra cost to you. If you're not already subscribed, please do so. Click the bell for notifications. I have a lot more videos coming up finally, so stay tuned. Thanks again. Catch you soon. See ya.